Hey everybody, it's Professor Parish, and welcome to week 4 of English 109. So as I'm recording this, it is Sunday night and we're about to enter week 4, which, believe it or not, is the midway point in this class. So, good news is we're halfway done. So we're going to talk about the assignments due this week for week 4. So far, those of you that are turning in assignments on time, that are completing everything each week in the class, you all are doing great. If you are not submitting assignments every week, or at least not doing all of the assignments each week, I would highly encourage you to please make sure to do so from this point on. You do have to have a C in English 109 to move on to English 121, 122. So for the most part, everybody's doing a great job with that. But this is kind of the time of the semester where if you're in a good place, keep doing what you're doing. Don't slack off. Don't think that you're in the clear because you've got an A right now, because we still have tons of points in this second half of the semester. And I have had students in the past that get really complacent. They're like, oh, I'm good. And then they find themselves really struggling at the end of the semester. The opposite of that, if you are struggling right now and your grade is not where you want it to be at, you do still have plenty of time to raise your grade. You just want to keep working hard, maybe map out and strategize on how to get all the assignments turned in. If you do need tutoring for English, we do have an online tutor, Miss Lane, that is helping students out this semester. So if you want, just let me know and I can forward you her contact information and her times for tutoring. I strongly recommend using her because she's a great resource for us to have as both instructors and for students to have too. So just keep that in mind, but you're halfway there. We just have 4 more weeks to go. It's gonna fly by, but let's dive in to week 4 with English 109. With that being said, so I'm gonna reposition myself right over here and let's look at the assignments for week 4. So week 4, there are 4 assignments for this week. As always, we have our discussion forum. Now, I do realize that this is 4th of July weekend, so I would encourage you, if you have travel plans, most of you probably don't because of everything going on with COVID-19, but if you are planning on going anywhere for 4th of July, or if you have family plans, make sure just to not forget about these assignments and try to get them done before 4th of July weekend. Try to get them done before Thursday if you can, and then that way you have all weekend to kind of hang out and not worry about anything. So the discussion forum posts are due by Friday, July 3rd. As per usual, they're due Friday night. Responses are due by Sunday. And if I pull up our discussion forum, just kind of look through that real quick for the week 4 discussion forum post. There is a video to watch. It's about Lindsay Ellis. She is talking about the required readings for English classes, which I think is kind of an interesting subject because I think all of us, no matter what high school you went to, probably has read at least one of the same books that another high school student has read. But we've all not read the same books in high school, which is crazy because you think you learn the same math in high school, no matter what school you go to, but you don't learn the same English, or at least literature-wise, you don't learn the same. So I'm curious to see after watching this video what your responses to the questions are below. But that's our discussion forum this week. It is not a long video, so it shouldn't take you long to watch at all. And I'm curious to see what your answers are to the discussion post. As far as the other assignments go, your compare and contrast papers are due this weekend. Some of you did not do the first paper, and you probably saw your grade drop a lot. So please make sure that you do this second paper and turn it in by Sunday night. I do give you the chance to revise, but only if you originally turn a paper in. If you don't turn a paper in to start with, you don't get the chance to revise it. So for the most part, everybody has been doing really well with turning papers in. I just don't want you to forget about the compare and contrast. And then we have a grammar review 3. So far, you all have done amazing with the grammar reviews. I've been really pleased with how you guys have been doing. So that makes me happy. So let's get up here. Yeah. All right. The grammar review takes place on page 466 to 470. And it's basically identifying verbs. So most of you on the last grammar review got the verbs correctly, like our action words. Some people put in some adverbs, some people put in some adjectives. So just know on page 466 to 470, there is a review on verbs in our English textbook. And you're just choosing the incorrect verb and correcting it. So this should be a very easy grammar assignment. Down on here, we have numbers 6 through 10. 6 through 10 are extra credit, so 1 through 5 are for credit, 6 through 10 are extra credit. So if you want to do some extra credit, now's a chance to get it. And then down here below, it's kind of the same thing. Choosing the correct verb, only in this part here, for part 3, you're telling, is it singular or plural? And then the final part here is just asking, there's 2 mistakes in each sentences involving the verbs, and I want you to write down the mistakes and correct them. So the grammar review number 3 is all just about verb usage, our action words, how do we use them correctly. We, unfortunately, based on where we are geographically, if you are born and raised in Southern Illinois, grammar and verb usage can be very problematic. And it's funny, I have a younger cousin who's in 7th grade, and sometimes she will correct me and say, aren't you an English teacher? You didn't say that verb right. And my excuse is always, well, I'm off duty today. But it's very easy if you've grown up in a location that frequently uses a word incorrectly in comparison to American Standard English. It's very easy to confuse and very easy to not even realize that you've done it until it's too late. So, I will say that I understand the struggle if people are like, well, I don't talk like this. I'm like, I understand. But that's the grammar review for this week. Should be pretty simple. And then finally, I want to talk about just the midterm check. So this is a test, and I'm going to show you all kind of how this works. So this is a test. You'll notice on here, it can only be taken one time, but there is no time limit. You can take as long this week as you want on it, as long as you turn it in by Sunday at 11:55 p.m. You can take all week on it if you want to. And I'll show you how to do that. So to start the test, you're going to click this link right here. I would definitely make sure you have a stable internet connection when you take this test and that you have given yourself some time to work on it. It's not long though. Even though it's worth 50 points, and it'll show you right here how many points each question is worth. Like this first question is worth 2 points. There's only 17 questions, so it's not a crazy long test. There's no time limit. It's a lot of short answers, as you can see here, but there's different parts. There's some multiple choice, there's some short answer, there may be some true and false. It'll be a variety. But my point here is, if you start this test, and let's say you get a call and they're like, hey, we need you to come over really quick. And you're like, I'm in the middle of a test. What do I do? You can actually save this test and come back to it. So what you'll want to do to save it is up here at the top of your screen. Do you see this gray box that says Save Progress? If I click it, it will timestamp it. When did I save it? So here it says 8:10 p.m. So I saved it at 8:10. I can exit the exam by clicking this little red exit button. And it's going to take me back to our My SIC page. Now, I have 2 options. I can either resume, which is what I will want to do when I come back, or I can turn it in unfinished. Do not click this dark box unless you are completely done with the test. Just don't do it. Go to this light box and click resume, and it will take you back to where you left off at. Now, please note, once you come back to the test, you can see where it says progress is never saved. It's going to start all over. So if you need to exit again, you will have to click save again. So each time you come back into the test, you will have to save your progress if you leave. It won't resave it for you, if that makes sense. Now, when I get to the end of the test, I'll go here to this page. You'll see this submit exam button at the bottom. Once you click submit, the test is turned in. You cannot go back to it. It's submitted. I will not reopen it. It's done. But if you're not ready to turn it in, don't click the submit button. Just, you can keep saving your progress. You can keep going back and working on the test throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, or whenever you want to turn the test in, then you can click submit. But that's pretty much it with the exam. It's pretty straightforward. I try to make tests as simple as possible because I'm not a test taker. I was not a test taker in college or high school. I would rather write an essay any day than take a standardized test. That's just my philosophy. So the tests we do in here are going to be pretty straightforward. And as long as you have your textbook, you should be able to answer the questions very easily, or if you've taken notes from your text or anything like that, you should be fine. But that's pretty much it for this week. You've got your midterm exam, the grammar review, the discussion forum, and the compare and contrast paper. So we are halfway there, guys. If you have been working really hard, and so many of you have been working so hard in this class so far, and your grade reflects it, you guys are halfway there. We've just got 4 more weeks after this, and we are done. Insane, right? Like I said, if your grade isn't where it's at, it's okay. You've got time to make it up. Just don't give up. Keep working hard. Let me know if you have questions, as always. And otherwise, I hope you all have a very safe and wonderful 4th of July week. I really do. Hopefully the weather will be nice and that you guys get to spend time with family and friends and have a good week and weekend. But until I talk to you all again, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you guys back again when we talk about week 5. All right? Have a good one, guys. Bye.